When the man lifted the couch, what he saw left him completely stunned. Underneath, a squad of tiny toy soldiers had somehow come to life. They moved in perfect sync, covered their wounded, relocated like pros, and even prepared to launch a full-scale assault on him. Without thinking, Mike stomped one into pieces. Another tried to flee, but had no chance against him. Seeing their comrade fall, the rest of the toy soldiers raised their weapons and fired back. A rocket trooper locked onto him, but before he could launch, Mike took him out with a single shot. Just as Mike thought he had things under control, a deafening roar came from above. 3 attack helicopters descended from the sky and launched missiles right at him. Mike reacted fast, dodged the blasts, but a rotor sliced his face, and another chopper nicked his hand. To make things worse, these toy helicopters had pilots, co-pilots, and gunners, unleashing a relentless barrage of bullets. Under heavy fire, Mike dove into the bathroom and locked the door. He thought he was finally safe, until a helicopter flew straight in, scanning the room. Thinking quick, he threw a towel over it and stomped it into pieces. Just as he caught his breath, another chopper flew in for backup. Mike fought back immediately. The soldiers, realizing they were outmatched, began retreating. He moved to chase them, but a sudden sound behind him made him freeze. One of the downed helicopter's crew was trying to self-rescue. Without hesitation, Mike grabbed it, tossed it in the toilet, and flushed. But the toilet started making noise again. He grabbed a hairdryer, turned it on, tossed it in, and finally, silence. He thought it was over, until a piece of paper slid under the door. He opened it, a surrender ultimatum from the toy soldiers. Mike smirked, wrote back 2 words, "in your dreams," and shoved it under the door. Everything went quiet. He slowly opened the door, and right outside was a miniature tank. It opened fire, blasting out dozens of tiny shells. Realizing he was pinned down, Mike scrambled to the windowsill, planning to jump into the next room, but danger was waiting. A helicopter had silently followed him, ready to ambush. Gunfire tore into him, pain surged through his body, but he couldn't move. One step wrong, and he'd fall from a deadly height. As the gunner aimed for a kill shot, Mike suddenly whipped his gun around, and nailed it with one shot. The chopper crashed into the wall and exploded. After barely surviving, he crawled back into the room, only to find the toy soldiers still huddled together, completely unaware he'd returned. He finally relaxed, until he spotted a rubber duck on the table, and a fire extinguisher in the corner. An idea sparked. He used the duck as bait, crept behind the soldiers, blasted the extinguisher to blind them, then torched them with a homemade flamethrower. The toy soldiers were utterly defeated. Mike gathered every last one, counted them carefully, made sure none were left, then tossed them all in the microwave. He hit start, and finally breathed easy. But just when he thought it was over, an even greater threat was closing in.